What's up guys, Dan here, Coalcracker. Super excited. Like, I am so pumped and excited to finally be able to show all of you this, the new Field Fix Survival Pocket Kit from Coalcracker. I am overly excited. Did I tell you that already, that I'm excited? Because I have been working on this thing for some time and it is finally here. And you're all gonna absolutely love it. It is an awesome piece of kit that you are definitely going to be interested in. So we're gonna give a whole breakdown of this thing right now. All right, so before we break into the kit itself, I think that we should first talk about why I developed this kit. So over the last year and a half, I've been doing a lot of recreating outdoors, and that was in all different senses outside of just like survival and bushcraft. So a lot of e-bike trips, a lot of rucking, a lot of kayaking, stuff like that, where I'm still outdoors, right? I could still get myself in a bad situation if I don't think correctly or do the right things. And in those type of scenarios, what I realized was I'm usually carrying some type of gear, because we preach it on this channel all the time, like you gotta carry the survival priorities with you when you go out. So what I normally would find myself taking is some type of water bottle, my T60, which if you don't have one of these, best emergency shelter on the market, lightweight and packable, great, ton of videos we have on that stuff. And then I would take some snacks with me, maybe a container that I can boil some water in, a lighter, and then I would take whatever specific items I need for that activity. So say it was like a ruck, it might be like my compass and my ruck pack and all that kind of stuff. But what I realized was I'm taking this very like simplistic core survival kit, and I'm constantly adding little odds and ends over a period of time of using the kit. And that might be some extra matches, some extra fire starters, some extra paracord, and the kits all started to look very familiar, to the point when I realized this, it was like, hey, I'm like buying multiples of the same items to put in all these different kits. So I thought, well, why don't I just develop a kit that can supplement whatever you're currently carrying? So that's where we came up with this kit itself. Now this kit could be standalone, we'll talk about that, but this, in my mind, is a great supplemental kit to have in different spots. So if you have something like a Go Ruck pack, and you have a sheltering system in there, and you have your water bottle in there, you drop this in and you forget about it until you need it. And you're gonna see when we get into the items, there's a lot of good utility items in here, and they might be items that at the time you're like, I'm never gonna need that, but there's just enough of it in here if something bad would happen that you can break this thing open and get into it. So let's look at the pouch itself. So heavy duty Mylar bag, the bags are sealed. The reason that we have these bags sealed is because, as you all know with yourself, you probably dig into your kit quite often, use some items, go home and forget to replace the items. In this case, if this thing's open, you know that you were in here and you were doing something with the items inside. So if it's nice and sealed and waterproofed, what's great about that then is it's just a visual inspection. So it's sealed, I'm good to go. I know everything is in here for if I would need it, and when I need it, I could break it open and go. Once you do rip this thing open, it is resealable though. So there is a Ziploc seal in here, so you could still seal the bag up so you can get in there. The bag itself, let's get right into it, open it up and show you what it's all about. All right, so you can see again, Mylar bag, it's sealed, Ziploc seal. We flip this thing over, the contents are listed on here. QR code, that just takes you to our website for more information. If you're out and you have your phone, always a good plan. And then good old fun here, Care to Survive. So we're gonna just open this thing up, it just rips across, and then we're gonna pull out these items. Now we'll do this in no specific order, so I don't want you to think like, hey, this is highest priority to lowest priority. No specific order here. So first thing that's already sticking out is we went with a Brunton glow-in-the-dark pocket compass. Okay, so really good for navigation. These are one of the things that I think a lot of individuals, many times, you just sort of forget about it. You don't think about having some type of navigational aid with you, so we have that included inside. We have Yuko stormproof matches. So these things work really well. Small little quantity here. And then we have these little tinders here to help aid with our fire starting. We have some bank line on a small spool. This bank line can be broken down. It's only the twisted, okay? So there's enough on there for sewing and repairs, and also lashings and bindings if needed. we have 2 DermaSafe razor knives, okay? So you can decide if you want to use these things, how you want to use them while you're out there. You could make shavings with properly sized sticks with these things. Also, if you need to do any skinning or anything like that, these things come in really handy, and they're very durable. We went with 2 different colors, so for some reason that you need to decide what you're using each one for and keep them separated, you can. We have some small diameter paracord, okay? So this, you can still pull the inner strands out, but this is just a good little hank cord there. You know, there's a ton of different stuff that you can do with that. We have the good old Bic lighter, one of the best fire starting methods ever, so we have that thrown in here. Stick this with the fire starting. We have some fluorescent flagging ribbon. This is really good to team up with your compass for self-marking. If you use some of our navigational techniques that we teach for self-rescue, this stuff adds up really well. The ribbon too, you can use one of these DermaSafe razors and you can slice it and actually create a lot more ribbon in there. I'm gonna pull out this whole packet here. That empties out the survival bag itself. The bag, like I said, it has a zipper seal on here and it is reusable, so you can, that's going to hold up really long for you. Now, in this little compartment, we're going to pull this out here and go through everything. First, for water collection and disinfection, we have aqua tabs. Okay, so these are aqua tabs. There's enough aqua tabs in here, okay, to provide 1 gallon of water per day for 5 days if the water is clear. Murky water, you're gonna have to cut that in about half, okay? But what we included here was a little card, and it has all the instructions for the aqua tabs. Plus, if your phone's still operable, you can use the aqua tab card that's included. And then we have this Whirlpack stand-up water bag that's sealable. So this is where you're going to collect your water. It's 32 ounces, and this is where you're going to use your aqua tabs. This thing is sealed up currently, so you rip your seal, and then you are good to go with collecting water. And then you're going to have a little catch-all bag, basically, like a utility style bag. So in that utility style bag, one of the most fun things that I laugh about in here is that we threw some camouflage band-aids in here, right? So sometimes a small cut can just ruin your day, especially if you are out and about and alone. This is just gonna help get you by and keep a little bit of happiness in your life. We put a sewing needle in here. It's finished off with a cork, just so it doesn't punch through anything. The bank line that is included in the kit can be broken down and used with this needle. So it's the correct size needle for what you have here. There are 2 safety pins for just various uses. And then we did include some alcohol prep pads, fire starting or medical, or to help with water disinfection and cleaning up different areas like that. So that's what's included with the kit. So as you can see, lots of different stuff in here, and there's still room inside this bag if you do decide to open it ahead of time to be able to fulfill extra stuff that you feel for your exact situation that you're going to need. All right, and there you go. That is the Field Fix Pocket Survival Kit from Coalcracker. I hope you all enjoyed that. A kit that you can either use as a standalone kit or a supplemental kit to fulfill your survival priorities. Now, just a couple quick notes with this. As I said, standalone or supplemental. At the end of the day, you have to make your own choice with what type of gear that you want to carry. So a lot of times when we look at these kits, we think, well, it's missing this, and I want this, and this should be in it, and that should be in it. That's good that you're thinking like that, but you can add that stuff. We have to come up with some type of baseline kit. So this is the baseline kit. You can always add more stuff. If you're a food procurement person and you want fishing supplies, have at it. If you need headlamps or lights, add it, right? That's where you personalize that kit yourself, but having some type of base is going to be the most important. So you team this up with a T60 and you are going to be golden and safe and live to see another day. So if you are interested in the Field Fix Survival Kit, the link is down in the description. Check them out. Also, you can check out all our other gear and supplies at coalcrackerbushcraft.com. And until next video, stay safe, stay in the woods.